Thank you.
Mute.
Thought I did. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see so many faces from last year and some new faces. That's awesome. So Dan and I are here tonight to talk about some of the ASLI programs and events for 2026. So we're going to keep some of the things that have definitely been working, and everyone likes to get together on Wednesdays and learn something new. And we're going to see if we can spice things up with anything that's different, get maybe some more participants and that kind of a thing. So welcome and thank you very much. Tonight we're going to go through a few things. So first you're going to meet us, if you haven't already, and then you'll meet the board, Astronomical Society of Long Island board. We'll go through some useful tools to stay up to date with ASLI and what we're doing. Some of these may be familiar to some of you, even older members, but also they may be things that you've forgotten about. Like maybe you forgot about the Night Sky Network, maybe you forgot about the newsletter. So just to bring those back in, to know that you can use those resources to find out about things that we're doing. Fixed ASLI events are ones that are regular or previously scheduled. That would be like our equinox party, and things like that. So those will be, we'll talk about those. Those are on the calendar in advance. And we'll talk about some upcoming scheduled programs. We do have a lot of scheduled programs up to May now. So we're almost half done with the year, but there's still plenty of openings for 2026. And then we're going to talk about some new initiatives for the group, for our little group, and some ideas that we have. Okay. So first, you'll meet us. That's me, Shannon, and my husband, Dan. We have been in the club almost a year now. So it was last February that we started. And it's great because we came when the previous program coordinator was just retiring. So this gave us an opportunity to maybe contribute more. I'm in HR, so I don't do any science for a living, but I am, always out there trying to learn new things, and I find all of everything astronomy related very fascinating. So I'm more of a continuous learner. Dan is the technical savant in the family, and he's also, very comfortable with cameras. And so if you want to see more telescopes than you've ever seen in a garage in your life, you should come over to our house, because we have, I think, 30 at this point. So yeah. But it's all, it's all fun, and and Dan is also much more up to date with the current events of astronomy, which is always very exciting to know what's going on, who's doing what, and whatnot. Next, we'll meet the ASLI board. So club officers, if you want to stand, I know you're not all here. Club officers are Ken Spencer, who is our president. He introduced us tonight. So Ken usually reaches out to new members, and otherwise runs the show. Vice President Carl Silverberg is not here tonight, but he is a frequent participant. And Treasurer Recording Secretary is John, who is here. He just raised his hand. He's in the back and he has a gray shirt. So these are people who are elected club officers, and it is their job to help you. So if you have any questions, if you're new, you have a question, you want to learn something, they can point you in the right direction, maybe connect you with another member, and it's their responsibility to be friendly. The board members are Dave Bush, who, I don't know what your title here is, Dave, but Dave is planetarium director. He is the person who organizes the facility that we're sitting in. So you just heard his voice. That is our first person. Steve Bandel is our second person on the board. He just raised his hand. Also very friendly, approachable, and organizes a bunch of things that we'll talk about. Ed Anderson, I didn't see on the Zoom, but he does come to outreach events sometimes. John Speroni, no, not here tonight. Ann Kochendorfer is here. Yay. Okay. Don Simon will speak to us later tonight. Organizes a lot of outreach. And then me and my husband, Shannon and Dan. So while Dan and I are the program coordinators and we organize that, we're also more than happy to connect people with anyone who we think might help you or, jive with you in some way, shape, or form. Personally, I'm a reader. So if you like to read, that's probably what you can connect with me best on. Okay.
Okay. So here's some tools that's useful for staying up to date with ASLI. Because I know that the once in a while members are looking for, what's going on tonight. We didn't know there was this event tonight and what's going on and what's happening. So these are websites that we use as a club to stay up to date. And they are kind of, everywhere, but so for new member, it's kind of difficult to learn, but these are the websites and this is what we use. And I will bring up the website in a bit. So the first thing is the ASLI Club website. That's our home website. Let me see if I can bring this up. So this is our new website, and I believe Ken has just been updated recently, especially in the background. So it's not right. So the most useful thing here on our website, right, the ASLI Club website, is the current program for the month. This is the most up-to-date information, and these are what's going to be happening this month, the dates, and so on. And Ken keeps this very up-to-date. The other thing that's very useful on this is your memberships. This is where you sign up. If you're a new member, this is where you type in all your information. Your payment is right here. For old member, you scroll down to the bottom, and this is where you renew. And we will talk about that in a little bit as well. The second
quick question.
Yeah.
To have a friend, you need to change some of that information, like your email address of record.
Yeah.
Can you do it on our site?
I don't believe so. No.
And for myself, you have to be sent an invitation from a new address to his group style, very, so we have to send you an invitation that you accept the new address and then we can delete the old one.
To change.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Only the moderator can do that, right?
But there's three of us,
Yeah.
Ann and I, and I think
Steve
Steve.
Michael, right?
Oh,
No, Steve. No,
The others-
Steve Bendel.
Steve Michael.
I mean, you.
Come on. I can.
Steve Bendel, Ken, or myself.
Right. So for people at home, the question was that if any of the member needs to change their register information, how do you do it? The best way is through.
Update the other thing first, about 20 people.
Right. So the best way is to email Ken. Okay. So the next thing is the Star Gazette. This is something that Steve Bendel's kind of been heading, and he created a new website where you can get all the old Gazette.
Every month there's a new issue.
Right. So this is Steve Bendel's made website. So what you do is you go to the bottom here. This is all.
Hold on. Right there. See, that's the most important part of it. People in the club who have written and want to read from members. It's not fan fiction. This is all. These are key members of the club from the beginning. They're very gracious, taking their time in the articles. And Shannon should take a really big bow because we have the most.
Hold on.
Regular contributor.
Okay.
And if you need it, the article, here's that.
Right.
Continue.
And here are the PDF of the Gazette themselves. The next thing, which I thought was interesting, is that we actually have a YouTube page, and where you can actually find the previous recorded programs like this one. You know, the address for the YouTube is right here, and you will see this at the end of the presentation as well. So
That's great. So people can see past meetings and, you know, all the speakers.
right, it's our fancy YouTube page.
That's awesome.
Sure, one more time.
Yeah.
These are club member only recordings. I don't put up guests from outside the club and only with the members' permission.
Right. Okay.
We have everybody has agreed, we do have.
Right.
Occasionally we get somebody who does not want the recording.
And we
Yeah.
don't tell you,
Okay.
not that you wanna go see mine, but.
Mhm.
Okay. So the next thing will be the group IO. This is where most of our communication happens. This is our messaging board. And it looks like this. So this is our home page, and if you go to messages, this is where all of the chatters are. And I believe today somebody's actually asking for a Zoom link. And that's almost every Wednesday you see that pop up. And lastly, this is probably not used by a lot of people, but it's actually quite useful. This is the Night Sky Network where our program calendars are. So if you want to know what's up ahead, not just this month, but future, this is the website. And it looks like this. So you don't even need to log in. So if you just follow the address, it's going to take you to this page. And if you go to event, you will see all the upcoming programs. These are the confirmed program, but they're all subject to change, obviously, if people have cancellation and so on.
One other point on the ASLI Club website, if you go down to the bottom of programs, the link.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
Okay. All right.
Any questions on those? We should ask if.
Right. Any questions? No. Okay. So for next, these are fixed ASLI events. This is just something that's good to know. These are things that you know, I guess we can expect in the as we go about the year. The most important thing is that observation night is happening every Wednesday, every third Wednesday of the month. That's happening in the parking lot here, obviously weather permitting. And so on every third Wednesday, there will not be a meeting in the lobby at the planetarium here. The next business is the election and club business.
I just wanted to say about the observation night, if people don't have a telescope, you can just come and look through other people's telescopes if you want to. Okay.
And next thing is the election and club business that happens in September. So are the club dues. So this is when you renew your club fees and so on. And if you don't, you will be removed from the active membership list by December 1st.
I need to be an active member to be in groups IO, right?
Yeah.
Right. Right. So to participate in that group messaging, which is just fun to share pictures and make comments. Yeah.
And there are parties that happens here. It happens at least 4 times a year. These are the equinox and solstice party. And obviously it happened on equinox and solstice. Not the exact day, but it's going to be the Wednesday that's probably closest to it. That's March, June, September, and December. And also last year we didn't have the ASLI barbecue, but that usually happens in the summer. I'm not sure if it's going to happen this year.
Up for discussion. I just want to say that the food has seemed to step up from when we first joined, like throughout the year, each party, I felt like the food quality, people were really bringing some good stuff there. Okay.
You got to promote the picnic again, see how that goes.
Yeah, I think that
Anywhere near like every meeting about it and get hands of people that come. we've done that in the past, so we always had a good turnout, so there's no reason why we don't go.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah, we should talk up some of the events prior, you know, in the weeks leading up to the event so that people know about it, they can plan for it, they can
they can way ahead of time. And
right.
And the ASLI news, everything, way in advance, you know, months in advance.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Next would be some.
You want to get the most people barbecue. Start a poll.
Yep.
Now, one thing is that Shannon Park, I was told that it's gonna cost a lot of money. I have my own beach, in Huntington, we can have it Venice Beach if we wanna do that as an option. You know, we just replaced the dock on there and everything, so, that's an option, but I heard Shannon Park was gonna cost us, $2 this time.
Well, yeah, it did last year, but
Uh-huh.
frankly, the total scheme of things relative to the what the club didn't afford is really a non-issue. It had gone up from about $50 to $150 because if you're not a village resident, that's what it costs.
Right.
But quite honestly, the fact that you've got a covered gazebo,
Oh, it's a great place.
Right.
in itself,
No, we
you
should
don't
have
have
place.
really elsewhere.
Right, especially in the
This is another
summer.
Talk for another time.
Yeah, but the
So-
Shannon
Right.
Park was a great place to have a picnic out because we have a gazebo,
Mhm.
the
And
water,
the bathrooms
it's
are easy to
ideal.
get to.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. So we'll remember to plan and announce.
You gotta plan that way in advance and, advertise the hell out of it.
Mhm.
And I think we'll have a,
Yeah, we have to reserve it somewhere around April,
Okay.
maybe even earlier, because it's a very popular venue, so.
What if you wanna have it in September, right?
Yeah, exactly, right, yeah. Yeah, but it gets snapped up almost immediately,
we have to observe it in April.
and it may have been actually in March, I'm not exactly.
But what about your place,
I mean, you can have my place, I can start a park. You're welcome to have my place, I can have, tents put up and stuff like that. What?
You had it 1 year.
We had it 1 year, the Shannon Park, I think, was better off. And, I would use my beach as a backup.
But you
Like,
need to,
what?
reserve a spot for that or what?
No, I own the beach, owned by the park, I can do it myself.
Mm.
The thing is that, if we
We
can't
just
get.
preferred
a
Scuttle
park-
Park, right, because it's got the gazebo Yeah. and the bathrooms are right there.
Yeah,
Tony's Beach, there's no gazebo and you have to go up the hill to his house to the bathroom, and some people that's an issue for.
well, it's well.
Well, it's
Shannon
uphill,
Park is a
so
better
for some
place.
people it is a problem.
Shannon Park is a better place. I mean, if we can't, if there's no availability, I'm giving the option. That's-
Yeah.
I think.
Okay. I think we can talk about the party
Yeah.
later.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So just moving forward. The other thing that we do have for fixed events are some of the outreach events. There's the Astronomy Day in April, Star Party for the Vanderbilt in October. There's also the Old Westbury Garden outreach from July to September. Although last year that only happened once because of weather. There was the Jericho High School outreach that was actually more fun than I thought it was going to be, and a lot of people showed up.
Mhm.
There's obviously the No Space for Hunger that that Don Simon had. That always has a big turnout, I think.
Again, Don?
To be determined.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the upcoming schedule program. This is the same information that you're going to find on the Night Sky Network right now.
Mhm.
So in January, we have right now on the 7th is what's happening right now. We're talking about the ASLI program events. On the 14th, we have our first bit of a Q&A. This is a new program that Shannon is doing, where we have a speaker that's he's a astrophotographer that is also relatively popular on social media, and he's going to talk to us a little bit. And Shannon's going to be having some questions for him.
I just wanted to say about that program, that is a format people can think about, that you don't necessarily have to be an expert, but you can try to think of someone who you believe has something valuable to contribute to the group and interview them. So, maybe they're in a field that you don't know a lot about, but you would like for them to bring that to the rest of the team. Either you can interview them, somebody else can, but the idea of the question answer format, I think, is great because it brings in new information and it also offers different people the opportunity to ask questions and things like that. So it doesn't have to be me, it doesn't have to be this person, but it can be, anyone who just has the idea. So anyway, that's the format.
Okay. And then third Wednesday is the observation night, and the final presenter for the month is actually me. I'll be talking about lithium-ion batteries. I've been working on batteries for 21 years plus.
And just,
Sure.
Steve just noticed there's a typo on the dates there.
Okay.
Oh, they're on the 7th.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They're all happening today.
They're all happening today, right? So it should be right. It should be the 14th, the 21st, and the 28th. Okay, right. Good point.
Okay. In February, we have our Tube Tech, the people that make Stella Vita. They make a bunch of cameras and so on. Who's going to be talking to us about some of their products, but also I wanted them to talk about. I didn't want it to be a sales pitch, but we'll see how that goes. So that's going to be the first presenter for February. And then on the 11th is going to be Steve Bendel, who's going to be doing In the Night Sky in the planetarium. And then there's going to be observation night again. And the final speaker for February is going to be Christine Lawson, Dr. Christine Lawson. She's going to be talking about astronomy in early science fiction.
Right. That was the one who was. Oh.
If it's cloudy that night of the observing.
Nothing happens.
Then the meeting canceled.
Right. Yeah. So during observation night, right. So during observation night, if it's cloudy and it gets canceled, nothing happens. Some people do get online on Zoom to chit chat, but that usually lasts about 30 to 45 minutes. I think because the Zoom timer actually runs out. Tony, you have a question?
We should look into, like, when we do ASLI observing night and it's cloudy, we should look into an alternate program. And I can volunteer, the other people volunteer to be on fall if it's cloudy, and we can still have our regular meetings, and we'll just now, instead of you can come in here and have a talk.
Can I
Yeah.
We don't do it now.
address that? One of the concerns was that if we were going to have a talk, it was always a well-done talk. So somebody, it could take 2 or 3 weeks to put together a talk. And so observing would be canceled. Everybody could come in here and there'd be like 8 people. And here goes a really terrific talk sort of down the drain because there was no audience. So because of that, we arrived at the present system. Maybe there's a way to have short talks that don't take a lot of preparation. Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
We can title it that. Let's be honest here.
That's funny. Are they still having the board meetings in here on Wednesday nights, third Wednesdays? Yeah. So we can't meet in this room.
Right.
It could be a Zoom only meeting possible.
Or it could be in the planetarium.
Oh, okay. In the planetarium. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I think it's a good idea to look into because
Sure.
I have talks I've given in the past with the new people here haven't seen.
Right.
And, besides the fact, a lot of times it takes a long time to get time to give a talk here because everything's booked. You can give talk then.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay.
So I don't think it's a bad idea for people giving alternate talks because what are you going to do if it's cloudy and it's a wasted night?
Right.
One of the other issues was that was more work for the program chairman because they had to find a solid talk for the observing night. And in
Yeah.
a way, it was like, okay, we don't need one.
Mhm.
There'd be one less talk that needed to be put together for a standby talk
Mhm.
when it was an observing night. So part of that was, hey, give the program people a break. They're good people.
Right.
Give them a break.
Come and look at cloud.
Right.
Okay. In March, we have So in March, we have a Dr. Bruce Partridge, who's going to be talking about the up-to-date current, I guess the standard model of the universe.
That's
with
my he's from my alma mater. Thank you. Okay.
And then the next is going to be a Dr. Mitchell Krivosky.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's going to be talking to us about the Hubble Space Telescope. And then another observation night, and then there's the vernal equinox party. In April, the two TBD actually has speakers. I just need to confirm with them. And then there is going to be observation night, and our own Fred, our member, is going to be giving a talk about AI and astronomy.
Cool.
And then Stan Honda is going to be next. So these are the confirmed program all the way up to April at this point. We also have a bunch of interest that's on the schedule, but I haven't put it into a program yet. Including in that is going to be the Vatican Observatory, who wants to talk to us. So we'll see how that goes. There's also somebody from the NASA library who's going to be closing down, I believe this month or next month, due to funding issue. So right now they can't talk, but after they lose their job, I'm sure they can.
They'll have plenty of time.
And I'm sure it will be,
Interesting.
it will not be biased. So these are the new ASLI program that we're thinking about. So none of these are on schedule because it's actually quite difficult to find quality speakers that that we want to bring in and truly show to the group. But we also wanted the program to be more interactive, to be not just somebody standing up here for an hour and talking. We wanted more people to be involved. So these are the program types that we're thinking about, and we will talk about what they are and some of the ideas. And if anybody has any ideas that they want to do, by all means, do it. We want it to be more than just talks. So these are the general types. The interactive, hands-on, community and sharings, deep dives are similar to talk that we do now. Fun and games, and then there's finally a mentorship program that Don Simon will be talking about at the end. So for interactive and hands-on, these are some of the things that we're thinking about. Some of them has already been done, and we're just going to be a continuation of it. So we can do a night of let's say telescope clinics or ask the expert, where there's a lot of members here that are very experienced, and there are members that are quite new to the hobbies, and so we want to open the night so that people can bring in their stuff or bring their questions, and people can have answers. And if people don't agree on the answer, I'm sure we can just use the internet.
It can be intimidating, I think, because some people are so knowledgeable about different aspects of astronomy and some people are new. It can be hard to sometimes just get the basics of, how do I use this telescope? What am I doing? How do I find something? Or how do I take a picture of this versus this? And that the idea would be that you could come and at least ask your questions, if not bring your telescope and say, I don't know why it's doing this. And just ask some people who are here who I imagine would be more than happy to help. So.
Astrophotography processing workshop, Ken Sheehan's already done a session of it, and that was very popular, and it was very well received, but it's done off hours. And again, we can continue to do off hours as well. And I believe Bill Handler will be doing one soon.
Yeah, we do a planetary one, sure.
Okay. The other things that we can do that's kind of fun would be building a spectroscope. You can build it with CDs, DVDs, just to see what different makeup of different lights are, and what the absorption and lines are, and so on. And the next idea that we had was something for really the newest member of the groups, about how you would go about planning for a night of astronomy, whether it be visual, whether it be photography. How do you start? How do you know what's in the night sky? How do you check the weather? All that.
Yeah, I think that Dan and I have learned a lot this past year in the different seasons, because this is the first time that we've had telescopes out there in the different weather. And I was unfamiliar with, all of the hardships like dew and the temperature and the frost and and then it fogs up and then, so I really never thought that that was a factor, and it very much is. So just like, in addition to just orienting yourself in the sky is just dealing with all of that, because it's dark and you can't see. So, that might be useful.
And final thing that we're thinking about was like a Messier marathon prep night. It's going to just give some, especially a new member, opportunity to kind of learn the night sky and see where things are. And I thought that would be fun. And by all means, anybody want to volunteer to host any of this?
Yeah, let us know. So Messier was an astronomer who mapped a bunch of stuff in the sky a long, long time ago. And so we still refer to things as, M11 and this and that. And so you can have a little marathon. That's something that people do sometimes, is where they go and try to see like all of his discoveries. But you have to plan for it because it's really hard to see them all, in one night. You really have to know what you're doing up there.
Okay, so next group of stuff, there's member show and tell. A little bit of that already happened earlier today, where Steve Bendel brought in his new smart telescope. And we know that we all like stuff. We all like a gadget. So we wanted to give the opportunity for members to kind of just come in and just talk about what they have, whether it be gadget, whether it be a photograph, whether it be something they found. It doesn't even have to be astronomy related. Just wanted to have the a more interactive night.
Yeah, if people are interested in that, they should let us know, because we would basically have a bunch of people in one evening probably, and it does give people the opportunity to present, but maybe not for 2 hours, maybe not for an hour, just for 10 minutes to talk about something that might be kind of your introduction to getting to know that the crowd isn't so bad. And so if you do have an idea for that, let us know and we can start accumulating the content.
Right. And in the same vein, it's going to be the book club, the movie night, music night, even the celestial object. We're going to pick one night and say this is going to be the book night, and you can have multiple presenter that comes up and talk about the book that they like, movie that they like, or music that they like. Astronomy related, of course. We thought it would be fun and also take a lot of pressure off of somebody doing it for the entire 1.5 hour.
The astronomy, we used to call it book night, and we kind of have forgotten about it, but it's amazing how many people, there's a lot of people out here reading a lot of books, and we would say, gee, I hope there's going to be enough, and there'd be 20 people with 2 or 3 books each, and very popular. So it'd be good to schedule that.
Yeah, if people are interested in any of those, like if they have a book, they want to talk about it, I think it would be great. You could read a little passage. Yeah.
Put myself in the circle.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we will do that.
Yeah,
we're going to do that. So I'm probably going to start putting dates out.
Right.
And we'll probably announce it saying that this is going to be 2 months away that we're going to be having this night.
Right. Contact us. Right. Okay.
Okay. These are just talks topic that people can do. Obviously, you're not limited to this. So I'm not going to go over the whole list, but these are similar to the talk that we have now, right? These are different topics.
I like astrology defense kit.
Talk about the astrology defense kit. Is that
this is yours?
Out there a thing, or is it what we need to know?
I believe this is something that you suggested.
That what?
You suggested it to us.
Dennis DeChico, I wrote him recently and I said, hey, do you still have, Sky and Tell ran about 20 years ago an astrology defense kit. And so he sent me a PDF of that. I'll have to look at it. But it's a fascinating idea. What do you do when people, back when people were normal, you would get weird stuff. Imagine what you get now.
Right.
So that might be a worthwhile talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wondered if there was a thing out there that
you could purchase on Amazon.
Something like that.
Okay. We're thinking about a fun and game night. where it's really just game night. I mean, we can have trivia night, we have an art night, we can have a Name That Nebula in the planetarium where Dave can bring up nebula and start either blowing it up or shrinking it until it's something that's easily recognizable, and we'll make it into a game. We don't know how to do a tally of scores or anything, and we don't know what winning means. But
the astronomy art night, what have you sort of thought about? That sounds interesting.
I think that's where I remember you mentioned that people could sketch the
moon.
yeah.
So.
yes.
Things
Yes.
that have been done in the past.
Yeah.
And I found it fascinating. It was at NEAF, I
Yeah.
don't know, 20 years ago, and a guy from Astronomical League showed up. And we sat in a room that was darkened, and he talked a little bit about how to make a drawing with a pencil and an eraser and all that. And then he just put a lunar crater on the screen, and we tried to draw it, thinking there was no way we could do a job. And suddenly it was like, wow, everybody did it was a really interesting talk. We should schedule that. And the other one was, there's a book called the Astronomical Scrapbook, and it was columns from Sky and Tel from 50 years ago or something. And one of them that was fascinating was, there's an effect that you see through a telescope when you're looking at Venus. I won't give it away. And so I made a little white ball, spray painted, put it in a black box with velvet, lit it from a light, and we'd set it there, and the telescopes were here, and people would come up and sketch the tonal surface of Venus, and then we would click them, show them digitally, and then give away this thing, a visual thing that happens when you're. So that's kind of a neat one. I think people enjoyed that, and it was, you're standing up, you're looking through telescopes, you're sketching.
Yep. So we'll start throwing these onto the calendar, and they'll be a little bit further out so that we have time to prepare. So anyway, that's
any questions on any of those before we go into the next? Okay.
Okay. So next, Don Simon is thinking about a mentorship program, and he's going to be coming up and talking to us a little bit about that.
You can eat this? Yeah. Doesn't matter where I stand? No.
I can turn the lights up if you want.
No, that's all right.
Are you showing slide?
No, so
Okay.
that's it. So I won't be up here long. I was gonna say I'll be short, but everybody knows that anyway. So it occurred to me, like, once I started to get more exposure here and was listening on people's conversations and seeing presentations, I don't have a clue. And every week it's reinforced based on different presentations. And, as you start to dip your toe in the water of different things, like all of a sudden imaging became something I was interested in. And, other people may have interests in just learning the night sky. It dawned on me, especially for those people who may come here as new members or thinking of joining the club, maybe a little too shy to reach out and start to ask people questions, that there are probably a lot of people in this club who are willing to share their expertise with whoever may want it shared with. And granted, there are probably very few people in the club, although a lot more, I'm guessing, than I may think, who could check a box that are strong on every one of this form. So what I literally banged this out in about a half hour. It's not final, it's not perfect, but the concept of it is, I came here, I'm thinking of getting into astronomy. I don't have a clue about how to start, but I think I want to at least understand what equipment I should consider buying. So, we have whoever is willing submit this form, and I'm very happy to, create some kind of database for the club based on whoever turns it in. And, a new member or even an existing member comes by and says, I've been coming here for 2 or 3 years and I still don't feel like I know the night sky well enough. How might I be able to really learn that in ways that make sense? Well, I know Dave Bush was nice enough to say he'd be happy to talk to somebody. Or Carl Silverberg, who, I've been out observing with many a night,
kind of just looks up and, no, that's this, that's this, that's this. So it's those kind of interactions that I think serve the best value to a lot of people. But knowing where, when I went to college, one of my favorite sayings, there was something on one of the school buildings, and it said, half of knowledge is knowing where to find the other half.
That's great.
So that's really what this is about. If somebody has an interest, they really want to know where to find it, I'm willing to kind of create a database of club members who are willing to share their expertise. So I'm just trying to keep this simple and breaking it into several groups of topics and just asking people to say whether or not they're conversational or they really would deem themselves to be strong. So Ken, as an example, I wouldn't hesitate to say he knows as much about imaging as I'd ever want to forget. Bill Hendler certainly knows planetary inside and out. And so if people are expressing interest in things, just having a group of people to send them to. And that's the whole concept of this. So when this is in some final fashion, and I don't think it needs that much more work, but the intent of this is to really just send it out to the entire club, have those people who are willing to be subject matter experts, or at least be conversational experts with people, say who they are and what topics they think they're strongest in. And we create some kind of master database. And then when we have a existing member, a relatively new person, or even somebody who hasn't joined the club, but maybe is willing to talk to people to learn more, we can point them in the right direction. So that's really what this is about. I, for lack of a better term, just called it the mentorship program. And I can guarantee you that I'd probably have one, maybe two of those things checked as conversational, and the rest of it I'd consider myself to be relatively clueless, so I wouldn't even check any of those boxes. But that's where I'm thinking of going with this.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for people to connect even outside the club, either online or maybe you meet on a observing night to see some of the night sky or try out a lens or something like that. But the idea is that the programs connect to the other aspects of the program and other ways to connect. So I think it's a great idea. We have some really smart people who are not tapping into enough for sure.
And that's it. So on the left is all the links that I showed up before, and our email address is on the bottom right there. If anybody has anything that you want to talk to us about, especially about programs, just send us an email. For every single program. Yeah, every week. Yeah.
What's your alma mater?
Stony Brook.
No, I went to a really small school in Pennsylvania you've never heard of. Yeah.
What is it?
What the?
You say it.
I went to Haverford, so it was a Quaker school.
Haverford?
Yeah.
Everybody knows Haverford.
Oh.
They've got an observatory there, right?
Yes.
There
Yes.
you go.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Okay.
not unknown.
Okay. 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 Yeah, I guess maybe in this context. Fabulous. Bill.
So yeah, I have a question or two. It's an interesting thing you brought up about off Wednesday gatherings and that kind of stuff. So, for instance, we have a very informal group of people in the pub when there's a clear night, say
What?
I want to go to Robert Moses, do some imaging and that kind of stuff. And it's been informal. And Anna recently made a brief aborted effort to kind of put together some kind of communications channel other than just, hey, maybe I'll remember to send out an email to someone. Does it make sense for us to have on our groups IO, does it make sense for us to have subgroups and observing groups and that kind of thing? That's one way, to avoid the problem of somebody having to maintain an email list and figure out who's on the group of people. And there are a lot of groups IO sites that I participate on that that do have subgroups. And I think it has the logic if you want to sign up to a subgroup and that messages to that subgroup.
We can do subgroups, and we tried doing this in the past. And for some reason, I don't know, it was.
Well, maybe we can try just one at a time.
You know, obviously a very obvious thing that people want to do is use their telescopes when it's clear. And a lot of times it's fun to do that in one place. And, you know, hoping that every third Wednesday is going to be clear. I think we've had 3 in the past 12 months that were reasonably clear. So, you know, it would be great to be able to do that stuff on more of an ad hoc basis. I mean, there are other you know, or organizations on Long Island that have groups IO, and I'm not just talking about AOS. You know, there's LIAP and you know AAA and all that kind of stuff. So that might, you know, kind of make sense because you know, if somebody says, "Wow, hell, I'm going after Robert Moses tonight. Does anyone want to come?" You know, that's a and you know, you sort of it's not as formal as workshops, you know. I mean, if somebody says, "Hey, Jupiter's out," you know, should we, you know, get together and see what that's about, and that kind of stuff. So it's just a thought. I mean, a lot of what we've talked about tonight is aimed at newer members, which is great. But we don't have thousands of them. And so, you know, it just something worth thinking about. Anyway.
How does the subgroups work? If I joined a subgroup, that's just an email from a different source?
And I don't know.
We've done it before. We tried it out when we talked about observing before. I mean, now you could, I mean, anybody can send an email to Groups.io and say, "Hey, you want to meet, you know, it's going to be clear on Thursday night. You want to meet me and Robert Moses." But
that spams everybody, basically. Right.
It was discussed that we had tried. So when you create a subgroup, that's just the people who
you sign up for that group.
And and notifications go out to the group. Yeah.
It's an alternative to having everybody's cell phone numbers and texting a group of people.
Right.
So,
And
which is generally what we do.
Cool.
I mean, we tried it and
I don't know.
Really,
I'm sorry.
Funny. I don't remember trying it, but I like the sound of it. So I'm not going to be getting any more emails than I get now because somebody says, "Hey, I'm going to Moses," or "I'm going there." And I get that. So what that does is people who are not interested in that don't sign up for that. They get less email and we get the same.
Well, even if somebody wants to post an interesting picture or something they took, and you don't want to spam the whole group. With, "Oh my God, look at that picture of the Crescent Nebula," and "Oh, nice picture. And
You know, at least it's something to think about.
Sounds good. Because it's going on now, just in the general population. So.
I mean, I can create tonight when I get home. It's there to be used, so if people want to use it, why not use it?
The only wrinkle is to make work. You have to let people know it's there and say, "Hey, we have this."
Right.
That sounds great.
Okay.
Does anybody has any more questions, comments, suggestion?
It's a terrific presentation. I mean, it's funny. We sort of know what the club does, but boy, to have it all laid out, it's impressive. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. When we joined, it was we had no idea how it works.
Right.
We just started getting emails like, "I'm not sure what this means." So.
Okay.
It's something we can do every year in January.
The first talk of January every year should be this talk, so that people
Right.
I
That's
mean,
a great
are
idea.
up to date on how the club works.
Oh, and the other, I just wanted to see if there are any new members who wanted to, or returning members, or people who've been here who just want to introduce themselves and say a little bit about why you're here. I wanted to give that opportunity since it is our first meeting of the year.
Not looking at anyone.
Not looking at anyone in
Yeah, you
particular.
But they might put me on the spot.
You can hold it as well. You don't
I
have
can.
to.
Okay. My name is Rex Rivolo. I was a professional astrophysicist at one time. I've had lots of different professions. My current one is I sell art. I have an art gallery in St. James. I graduated from Stony Brook with a PhD in astrophysics. I was a first postdoc at the Space Telescope Science Institute. And then I went to the University of Pennsylvania. And then I got fed up with academics. And I went back to my old profession, which was aviation. I spent a lot of time in various places of aviation, including 20 years as an advisor to the Secretary of Defense. So I've had an interesting life. I'm well versed in astrophysics, obviously. I don't spend time looking through telescopes. Most of my work is theoretical, looking at large scale structure, where the universe come from, where's it going, what's in it, questions that have been around a long time and no answers. We still know almost nothing about what's out there. So if you're interested in looking without a telescope, looking through your imagination, I'd be very happy at times to set up little lectures. Might be interesting. And I'd be happy to speak to anyone.
I do.
Right.
Rest of the month, rest of the year.
Right, yeah. Book them. Thank you. Right.
Actually, can you get on the internet here? Yeah. Try to Google my name on YouTube and see it. I want to see a lecture.
Rex, and spell your last name?
Rivolo, Livolo.
On YouTube?
YouTube.
Nothing, Rex, I was a hotel.
Is it Rivillo?
Rivolo.
Okay, Revol, like Rivolo.
Yeah.
That's okay. Oh, it's
there you
two
go.
L's. Yeah, oh,
Click on that lecture. It's worthwhile. It's a lecture on space flight.
He is our newest member.
our newest member is famous.
If you're interested in space flight, this is the best lecture on space flight I ever had.
Is that a high school thing?
At University of Pennsylvania. It looks
That's
like-
just last week.
Huh?
That was just last week that was recorded, right?
6, 7.
So do we have the URL for that so we can go home and watch it?
Yeah, I can say that.
Yeah,
It's for, it's for a class, for a graduate class.
Right.
but, it's understandable.
mhm. Okay, great, fabulous.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we have a lot of knowledge in the room, once again. What are you gonna do?
Any,
And if you want to know anything about airplanes, that's.
What I'm gonna say is, how do you follow that?
I know. Hi, I'm
You know,
Joe Smith.
It's like being at a comedy roast, and you follow Milton Berle. I mean, what do you do?
That's funny.
Anyway, my name is Bruce Hafner. I live here in Huntington. I'm a retiring lawyer. I've been at it for 50 years and I'm trying to wind up my practice. But I've always been interested in science first and astrophysics and cosmology and so forth. And I just got a Christmas gift of a nice Celestron telescope. I said, where am I going to learn or find out anybody who's interested in this? And I was flabbergasted to find all you folks. And I'm about where I'm living. I live up in Huntington Bay. It's, 12 minutes from here. I could walk if I had to. But anyway, it's nice to see you all. In addition to being a lawyer, I'm an EMT. I volunteer over at the Huntington Community Ambulance Squad once a week. Now I'm just driving, but I'm still fighting. And I'm glad to meet you all.
Well, fabulous. Yeah. 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 Is there anyone else who wanted to, I don't know if I'm shouting. Is there anyone else?
Into two mics.
Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so thank you so much, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, bro.
Awesome.
Nicely done.
Yay.